Hi, everyone. I'm Cary Ellis, author of 21st Century Superhuman. I hope you're hearing me. I hope this is working. It's a little bit different than I've been doing it. And this is our 21st Century Superhuman live show. Today, I want to tell you about how it is that we help create this reality we're in. And if we're waking up in the morning feeling stressed because things are different than they used to be, and if we're struggling inside with all of these changes, let's look at how we can change that inside of ourselves, because that is the most important thing we can do. In fact, it's the only thing we can do. We can change inside ourselves. And believe it or not, I'm going to double check my sound here. I'm hoping that this audio is coming through. I'm hoping the video. So anyway, let's look at how we are creators in this world and how we can release ourselves from these levels of stress that we're carrying around because of what's going on. So first of all, my choices create they actually literally create my reality. I mean, how's that even possible? This is what my whole book, 21st Century Superhuman, the whole book series is about. And it goes into it in detail. It's really fun and interesting and exciting. And believe it or not, this is quantum physics. This is the physics of the future. This is the physics of now. I'm sure we'll go beyond it at some point, but understanding that it is our resonance, our vibration, which is creating what's around us. So let's just say we, humanity, I always come back to I because it's the only place I can really go. And I see myself as part of this oneness, this collective of humanity. And believe it or not, what I do helps shift the entire whole of humanity into the frequency that I choose. And so we, humanity, we have chosen for thousands of years to create outside of love. In fact, Adam and Eve going from the garden, that little story says, well, I didn't do it. He did it. She did it. I didn't do it. The serpent did it. And so that's us passing off on someone else our creative ability. Oh, I didn't do it. I didn't have anything to do with it. Yes, I did. So somewhere along the line, I have created outside of love. And some of these things we're dealing with today are outside of love. I'm hoping you can read these. I don't really want to say them all. And there's been a lot of censoring going on. There's been a lot of things that I would call false flags. And these are the traditional news media, the traditional system, the powers that were, use something called fear, which is false evidence appearing real. And when we are living in false evidence appearing real, when we have a little bit of fear inside of us, we are sending out that fear vibration and we are going to increase it. What we want to do is learn how to decrease that, both for our own sanity and for all of humanity. So we want to ask ourselves, where is my attention? And what's interesting is there's a thing that is like an iceberg. It's the data inside of us. And you know how an iceberg is? There's that little tip that's above the water. And the tip above the water is what we can see. It's like, oh, I have good thoughts today. I'm happy. I'm smiling. I'm breathing and I'm smiling. But what's under the water is generations of old data. We're just going to call it old data because that's a really nice way to put it. Now that we have understanding of computer stuff, old data is just information. It's information, that we're carrying around that, oh, such and such a country was terrible, or oh, slavery was terrible, or oh, these horrible things that we're angry at, we're grieving at. And I have my other chart, which I'll do again for you one of these days, that shows where the emotional tones are. But we carry around this old data and it's like in a trash can with the lid on. And the reason why do I say breathe, smile, and love? Because it is the most powerful thing we can do. And as we do that, no matter what is coming up to the surface, we can say, I choose to cancel release, and let this go. I'm angry at this racial incident that recently happened. Cancel, release, let go, breathe, smile, and love. There's an unfolding story here, and the story is of all of the vibrations that we, humanity have created together here. So how can I change that? By changing me. As I change me and I breathe, smile, and love, and I cancel, release, and let go any anger, grief, pain, unconsciousness, you know, at first we feel rage, we feel grief when we first start seeing all these things that are going on, and we're in this awakening process like, oh my gosh, I'm beginning to realize that, true information about those shots that they like to give are being censored. True information about drugs that could help us or drugs that are not good for us are being censored. There may be many falsified things in the recent lockdown that's happened around the world by groups that would like to manipulate us. Can you imagine somebody just flipping one little switch? And this story was written up it's been in movies, it's been in The Simpsons. It's almost like it was predicted over the last 10 or 20 years. It's been written up in novels. So there's something funny about this story, and we need to learn to have our eyes open. And as we have our eyes open, what can we do? We can decide where we put our attention. We can choose to cancel, release, and let go, even our upsetness about what seems to be not cool, not kind, not good, not fair. Let's just cancel, release, and let it go. Let's just cancel, release, and let it go. Then let's breathe. Let's smile and let's love. And let's know that perfect creation can resonate from us into this world. And as we cancel, release, and let go, all these generations of old data that have created this not of love side of things that's happening, we begin a new creation. And who we can think of that really carries that presence is a newborn baby. I know a few babies that were born recently, and they're so beautiful. They're so precious. They're so peaceful. So can we each be in that pure love that a newborn baby has? That's where we want to go. That's where we want to be. And as we do, we will begin to de-stress. We will begin to be at peace as we choose to walk, to meditate, to get out and move, get barefoot on the earth, breathe in the sunshine, gather with loved ones. We will begin to create good things. So out of our de-stressed self, where we are breathing, smiling, and loving, and saying, I'm not going to hold. When we focus on all these things that are not of love, when we focus on those and we think, ain't it awful? Oh, that's terrible. And, I like to report the news. I like to notice it going by when I see positive changes happening. But if we focus on this, believe it or not, we're basically holding it in creation. I'm going to focus on that awful thing that just happened. Well, guess what I'm doing? I'm holding it in creation. Instead, I'm going to breathe, smile, and love. I am going to let whoever is acting out that scenario in this earth hologram, in this earth story, in this earth journey of awakening souls, I am going to allow whoever's acting out that story, whether it was a false flag, whether it was a true flag, whether we should really, something has been stirred up to make people at odds with each other. Well, is that really operating out of love, or is that operating out of generations of old data? So we want to breathe, we want to smile, We want to love. And I'll tell you one of my favorite tricks. I have a mug here that I just had decaf coffee in. But what I added to that was a half a teaspoon of baking soda, a tablespoon of honey, because I love honey and we have raw jungle honey here, which is really good. And when you take that honey and that baking soda, or you can use maple syrup, you can use another sweetener if you want, and you put them together, it behaves differently in the body. It acts like a Trojan horse. The cells that are diseased want sugar. Hey, Alexander, I see you there. Yo, bro. Um, the cells that are diseased, want sugar. So the sugar, the honey, will go to the cell, but it will carry the baking soda with it. And the baking soda it will make the cell alkaline. It acts like a Trojan horse. And once it's in the cell has to relax and say, ah, I don't have to be acidic anymore. I don't have to fight. And our whole body is that way. So a hot toddy, which would just be hot water with baking soda, half a teaspoon of baking soda, a tablespoon of honey, and the juice of a lemon or lime is really cleansing. I like to put a couple of drops of essential oils in there, but that's me. It may not be for everyone, but you can go read in PubMed how oregano oil, tea tree oil are written up as equal to antibiotics. Just search for PubMed tea tree oil, PubMed oregano oil. These are major studies being done around the world. So I like adding those to my coffee or my hot toddy. And we have a couple of these hot toddies a day. Have you ever woken up in the morning and just said, wow, I just feel this inner stress. It's almost like anxiety. It's almost like a panic, like, oh yeah, what's going on in the world? And we need to teach ourselves, how do we calm ourselves down? Where there's physiological ways and there's psychological, emotional ways. And the truth is, when we cancel, release, and let go, any data that's coming up that's tough to deal with, that's below love, and we breathe, smile, and return to love, we literally change the creation of the world around us. So that's what I've got to say for today, and I wish you all well. Remember, as I've said many times in this, breathe, smile, and love. Live your journey. Become a positive creator in our world because you can do it. You're awesome. You're brilliant. You're talented. We are breaking out of ancient slavery systems that don't serve us anymore. And the new has to come forward. We are in the great shift of the ages. Yay, Melissa, you had your hot toddy rock on, chica. Good to hear from you. Yay, Thomas Kelly, good to see you too. So here we are in the great shift of the ages, the turning of the tides. Alexander, you know about this because you're a surfer. When the tide changes, there's turbulence that happens, right? So we're in the turbulence. This has been predicted by all the ancient cultures. Don't you just get up some days and go, which book of Revelation are we in? Or where are we on the Mayan calendar? I mean, this is the great shift of the ages. So let's journey on together right now. We don't go on daylight savings. Hi, Dylan. Love you, bro. So I love you all so much. Please share this. There's a possibility that social media could get shut down to stop censorship. I'll ask you to please go to my website, which is 21stcenturysuperhuman.com, and put your little email in there so you can be on my email list and you can stay connected no matter what happens. We're building a few new mechanisms behind the scenes. I'm trying to get my book out to you in a special form that will be a little bit different than usual, but we're going through the paces on that. So I love you all. Let's cheer each other on. Let's be positive creators. Let's live in the heart. Let's cancel, release, and let go. Let's breathe, smile, and love. And together, we're changing the world. Okay, kids. Love you bunches. See you soon. Ciao.